And what I want to talk to you today about is finding a way to recognize the source of power and making sure that we don't move forward trying to operate in our own strength. I believe that we as a church cannot be in a position where we have to operate on our own strength. That's just not going to work in this community, in this time. We need to be connected with a source of power that's outside of ourselves. So we're going to read Luke chapter 11. I'm just going to read one verse. I have 4 verses up there, but I'm going to read the first verse. You can read the rest of it to see what Jesus did with this request, but I'll read one thing that the disciples said to Jesus. Now Jesus was praying in a certain place, and when he had finished, one of his disciples said to him, "Lord, teach us to pray, as John taught his disciples." Teach us to pray. Why did the disciples say this? Well, there's a number of reasons, but one of the reasons I think they said this is they recognized the source of Jesus' power. You know, notice what they didn't say. They didn't say, "Hey, Jesus, teach us to do those cool miracles." We saw you remember the one where you took the bread and you got this one basket of bread and fish and you fed all those people. Can you teach us to do that? Some of the younger guys might be inclined to be like, "Hey, Jesus, you remember the whole water into wine thing? Think you could hook me up with, They didn't teach it. They didn't ask him to teach them how to do the miracles. Why? Because they recognized the source of his power came from his prayer. And I want to point something else out too. What did they notice? What was the source of this question? When Jesus was praying, then he finished, then they asked the question. In other words, I'm watching Jesus. I'm following him closely. I'm seeing how he prays. There's something about that I need. Not the miracles, not the casting out demons, not the feeding people. How he prays. That's what I need. That's what I want to learn about. How Jesus prays.